Coming soon to theaters. Podcasts, film reviews, and so much more. Available at tristanmiller.substack.com.
And now, our feature presentation.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Focus Testing, a podcast about movies where we make a movie. My name is Tristan Miller, and joining me today is Dani Ahrens. How are you, Dani?
I'm doing well. I'm ready to pitch. I'm ready to go.
I haven't asked this question of a guest in a while, but what's the last movie you saw?
So the last movie I saw was a Tubi movie.
Hell yeah.
I watched a certain movie called Escapecation, which is about basically an Airbnb. Some friends do an Airbnb, and turns out that the Alexa of the house might be a little bit more sinister than he seems, because his name is Simon. And guess what? You gotta do what he says.
Oh, no.
That won't spoil anything. There's no way you can predict where this movie goes. I highly recommend it.
What was the first movie you remember seeing in the cinema?
So I actually did research and I asked my parents this, all right? But I didn't get to ask more questions because my mom texted me. I just saw somebody get hit by a car, so I'm a little bit shaken right now. I don't know what happened there.
Oh my God.
But like, I have not heard back from her about it. But like, it was she was like, first movie was The Page Master in theaters. Also, I just saw someone get hit with a car, and it's like, oh,
that's crazy.
I know.
I hope everyone's all right.
I do too. I asked her. I asked, was the person all right? I asked, was she all right? But I'm doing a podcast right now. She can wait.
So Page Master.
My family always tells the story about the Page Master because it was the first movie I saw. It was at this like gated community, so very safe space. I was taken by my brother. I was 4, he was 7, and first movie. Also, probably not the best decision for first movie for a kid. You do it without the parents. Like, probably should have the parents there. Probably should have them in some capacity, even if it's a safe place. But it's the 90s, so who really cares? Page Master. Apparently I make it like 30, 40 minutes into the movie, and then a Frankenstein, like a scary book came up, and I was just like, nope. And I just walked out of the theater and walked all the way back to the house, like that we were renting. It was
all
just
the way
immediately
back to the house?
Yeah, on my own as a 4-year-old. And like my brother stayed. Brother did not leave the theater. Like, because he was 7. He was 7.
You were just like, simply no.
I guess it's not a good look on either of us. Like, because if I was scared something would happen, I just ditched my brother.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Just, where's your brother then? It's like, I don't know.
He's back in the thing. I don't know.
I just got out of there. And him, like, you just saw your sibling leave the theater. And you're like, the movie's not over.
But I paid $5. I need to see the movie.
Someone paid for this. I'm 7. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
so
and it's cartoons. Yeah, but so that was my first movie. I did the research.
Well, I appreciate the research being done. You're the first and probably only person to do it, so that alone makes this a good episode.
I'm aiming for the best guest slot. As long as I don't get canceled during this, I feel like I'm aiming for it.
So far, you're doing well. So are you ready for the movie trivia portion?
Let's go.
So starting off, as always, what is movie?
I thought a lot about this. I've thought a lot about this, being a fan of the show, thought a lot about this. I think the best description I can give, because this is the thing, if you ever make a movie or do editing, seeing moving pictures is not a movie. Like, that is not a movie make. Point is that once you do that as a project, it's something you made, it's a piece of art that you made. What I think a movie is, what a movie-going experience is, it's the opportunity to inhabit a vision outside of your own. I won't even say it's a singular vision. It's often not. Often there's collaborators and it's a lot of different stuff. But both through the eyes, and I would say the third eye, the mind, the imagination, I think it allows an opportunity to see a vision that is not your own. And that is what I would say.
I like that a lot, yeah. The ability to inhabit someone else's vision is very good. I think so. I think that's very, very good.
Again, I say a vision outside your own. Because again, sometimes people make a movie and they're like, that's not my vision, that's not what I wanted. And it's like, but you gave a vision.
Next question. What filmmaker should make the next Marvel movie?
Oh, God. We were talking about David Lynch so much. I would love that Marvel David Lynch movie.
Just the idea of David Lynch going, so is he made of iron or what? Is he an Iron Man? I don't understand.
Why would you use iron? Use erasers.
It's gonna rust. I don't what? I have a headache. You're telling me there's more than one universe? I don't think so, Buster.
No, reality is set and firm. I've always said that with my movies.
Yeah.
But I would say honestly, it'd be a waste to do David Lynch because I've worked for Marvel. I worked on the sets. I was a PA, and part of why I think these directors are not enjoying it. Sorry if I give a little inside info, is because their animation department, like a large part of that animation department, you see in those credits, are people who animate things before they're shot. Like they shoot little stick figures and dummies doing different things. So like directors don't have to plan out shots anymore. They can just move a camera within a 3D environment within their set and figure out like their cuts and their edits and how much they need to film before it's even filmed. Like they just can just look at it and figure out, okay, we need this shot, and recreate this shot and this and that. So like it takes away all the creativity and all the thoughts of metaphors. So like sometimes I'm like, maybe that would be wasted. I would love the heel turn. Like I would love, or not even heel turn, I guess reverse heel turn. I don't even know wrestling stuff, so that's not my forte. Point is Scorsese doing one just out of nowhere. Like he was
that
just
would be funny.
Doing it so to up his offer. If like he was just like, no, I love these movies. I freaking love these movies. I just like needed a higher price. Like they need to pay me more. And now, like, he's doing, like, the next phase of everything. He's the new Kevin Feige. I love these things. I don't know his voice, but I love these things. None that I would like to see more than Scorsese.
Yeah, Scorsese would be great. I think it'd be very funny as a whole. Again, a twist. Like, what a twist.
Who would you?
Who would I want? Honestly, it's kind of crazy that Kevin Smith hasn't done one. It's just kind of insane that that they haven't been like, hey, you should just make a Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think having Andy Serkis step up into the directing chair for one of the Marvel movies would be really good. He's a very fine director, and he knows how to work with big budget stuff and digital stuff.
I mean, you seen Venom 2?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he did do that. It wasn't an MCU, but I guess it was a Marvel movie. I haven't seen it. Venom 1 or 2.
I was saying that kind of jokingly, but it is like, it's like it knows what it's going for. Like, the dude started out probably being a Peter Jackson super fan of, like, pre-Lord of the Rings stuff before he got into Lord of the Rings. And, like, it clearly shows, I think, in Carnage. It feels like a old-school Peter Jackson, like, just goofy for the sake of weird. Like, I don't know. Peter Jackson! I'll adore a Peter Jackson Marvel movie.
Fascinating. Next question is, what is my favorite movie?
Oh gosh, this is a true test.
This is a true test because you say you're a listener of the show. I've told my favorite movie on the program on air. So if you remember,
I do remember.
Or if you follow me on Letterboxd,
Woman Under the Influence.
There you go. Very good. Ding ding ding.
My guess though would have been. I would say second guess would be Adaptation.
A film I have never seen, but okay.
You would adore it. It's Nicolas Cage at his finest. Would love it.
Okay.
Other movie that I was gonna say was Step Brothers. I think like if you had the choice between Island movie, seeing Step Brothers or Woman Under the Influence, you gotta go with the movie that airs 34 times a day daily, Step Brothers. You have not seen it?
I've never seen it. Not once.
That's literally the 11th sin. That's not okay.
Yeah, no, I just haven't. I don't know. When it came out, my mother was deep into not liking Will Ferrell, and so she's like, "No, I'm not gonna take you to see that crap." So yeah,
fair enough.
I don't know. I just have never seen it.
If you're gonna ask, what movie makes you horniest? I was gonna note Step Brothers because I know that's a famous question of yours. But I don't know if I should spoil why now because you haven't seen it.
Oh, is it because of the Catherine Hahn makeout scene? Is it because of that?
It is because of the sexually dominant Catherine Hahn energy, just like super horny
no,
Catherine
Hahn. As a fan of Catherine Hahn, of course I've seen those scenes. The movie itself, no.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing you need.
What is the best cinema snack?
I wrote it down, but I'm also worried that this might be a ploy of entrapment, because the best cinema snack was when I was like probably at my heaviest, like a couple 100 pounds more. And I was in Ohio, in the lawless country of America. And so sneaking things into the movie was a very common thing. So much so that my theater had a police officer there to make sure you did not sneak things into the theater. But right next to the theater was a Chipotle. So if you were bold enough, you could bring a Chipotle in the theater. And if you were especially obese, there's a special deal you could get where you would just go up to the counter and ask, how much does a cup of nacho cheese cost? Because they just give you a cup of it because they just assume, okay, you're just going to slurp this down. And then you can add some nacho cheese to your Chipotle burrito. But you can also have Chipotle chips with that nacho, which is what I would actually do. Just like dip in those little lemony strippets, the series of tasty events. Very good. I would say Chipotle chips with the nacho cheese. Heaven in a
Hell
theater.
Yeah. That's so good. Finally, I'm going to ask you, of course, why is Austin Powers so sexy?
Can I say one thing? I'm happy to answer that.
Yeah.
Listening to the show for a while now, I've noted that you've been looking at an off-ramp for this. There have been a few episodes, I'll look up the receipts. My point is
I'm
that
listening. I'm going,
the question is, if I may offer, with all due respect, feel free to reject this, but I think maybe a good question is, what about you makes him horny, baby? Because I will say this about the man Austin Powers. Like, as much as it is fun to imagine this, I don't think Austin Powers has ever said the words, "You don't make me horny, baby." like
So you're positing that the bigger question is, why is he so horny? Not why is he so
why
sexy?
is he horny for you? Like, why is he horny for you specifically? It's a nice moment to build up the guest before the thing. It's like you're able to express what would Austin Powers find sexy about me, and maybe I say
fine,
my
sure,
confidence.
Dani, go for it. What would it be?
Because I'm shagadelic, baby, and like more importantly, I'm very gur. I'm very gur.
True.
No, I think it's very soft to hold at night. I am again shagadelic, very gur, and I mean, what wouldn't make Austin Powers horny is a really good question too.
What wouldn't make him horny is a good question.
You don't make me horny, baby.
Oh, no, I don't like that.
It doesn't roll off the tongue right. Immediately you're like, there's no way. Like, he wouldn't say that. There's no way he would say that. So how does he find you horny?
That's an interesting question. I think that's quite good. I
want to hear your answer too.
Oh,
what would make Austin Powers say, "You make me horny, baby"?
The fact that I could probably mimic him back to him would be my guess.
That's the biggest thing.
Because the man's self-obsessed.
If he could make love to himself, I think that would be the peak.
I think that's probably would be it.
And he'd give a wink to the camera, like, let's take a little moment in private, and then wink, and then it cuts to like Dr. Evil. Like, just...
Oh no. Yeah. That's very funny. That's a very good.
Right? I'm just saying, if you're looking for an off-ramp,
I
think it's a booster. I feel confident now. I feel like Austin Powers just told me I'm sexy, baby. And like, that's the best. Like, and now I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to pitch. I'm ready to get this show on the road.
Let's go with the word.
Oh, okay. We're jumping to the word.
Our word is assume.
Assume.
ASSUME. Assume.
Okay. How are you feeling about this? I like that you offered the chance for a reroll. Do you want to do a reroll and see which we prefer, or what? I don't think this is bad though.
No, I think this is fine. I have a couple of notions where I could go with it immediately, but I want to hear what comes to your mind first.
I mean, the thing, my mind goes to, of course, making an ass out of you and me, which is problematic for me at first, because I was like, okay, so is this like a Rob Schneider movie, like where he becomes an ass, or like something where someone magically gets turned into an ass? And it's like, I don't know if I want to pitch a full movie to you about an ass that's speaking like, hey, how's it going?
That kind of ass.
Yeah, like John Leguizamo, or it could be like Liar Liar. That's very good. It could be a Jim Carrey vehicle of like, he assumes things and he becomes more and more of an asshole as the movie goes on.
If I may, my first notion was a Pinocchio prequel about that island where they all get turned into donkeys or whatever. That scared me as a child.
Everybody loves a prequel. Everybody loves a prequel.
They famously have never had any issues, ever. Famously.
Yeah, never ever been bad. And also what we've learned recently by all the Pinocchio movies that have come out, Pinocchios, everybody loves this wooden dude.
Everyone loves a wooden boy.
Everybody went to go see those movies. Like, everybody went to go see them. So is this a body horror movie about children getting turned into donkeys? Like, or what are we going with this? Are we going with, just really quick, because I'm trying to go with the idea that there's no bad ideas, but we're throwing stuff at a board. We can flip it at any time.
Yeah, I think we can combine both ideas. I think it's about the man who starts the whatever island it is in Pinocchio, where everyone's.
Okay, so we're doing like a Dr. Moreau sort of approach to Pinocchio.
I think because you mentioned the idea about the guy, like Liar Liar, slowly turning into more of an asshole, right? And I think you can take that idea and this prequel idea and fuse them together.
Instead of lying this time, the curse is based on just being a fucking dick.
Yeah, and slowly, and then throughout the film, he slowly becomes more and more of a donkey after he's like putting together this terrible island. And that's the thing you don't know when you watch Pinocchio, is that the guy who's been there the longest is this old donkey. Played by, of course, it's got to be Eddie Murphy, right?
I was okay. You don't even start, because I was going to say the only little Tristan. Our minds are melting, they're sinking right now, because like the only flaw with this movie is that in Pinocchio, the new donkey is a child. So my mind went to like, okay, well, who's this older donkey that doesn't appear in Pinocchio? Like, where do they come from? Immediately I was like, Eddie Murphy. It's a Shrek crossover connection movie, and we're creating the fairy tale verse in the way it was meant to be.
Step aside, dark universe.
Yeah, DreamWorks didn't dream big enough. Their dream didn't work, and that's why we're coming in to fix it all. Shrek is now part of Pinocchio, because they never give an origin for donkey. He's just a donkey. He's just a donkey.
Just a donkey that talks.
And he's in the fairy tale universe. And they never say like, oh, no, he was originally Eddie Murphy and he got turned into a donkey. But now we get to do that. And, oh my gosh, people love live action remakes of cartoons. They love it.
That's true.
They love it. Adore it. People know. I'm pretty sure, what was it? Jungle Book. Jungle Book was the biggest movie of all time. Animal Jungle was the biggest movie of all time. So my point is that this one, we actually get Eddie Murphy live action, turns into donkey by the end of the movie. And maybe, I don't want to get to this yet. We don't have to talk about this yet, but maybe we get a live action Shrek.
I like that idea. I think we should focus on
Cameron Diaz.
No,
no, she's not part of this. It's a prequel. It's a prequel.
Focus on just the basic beats of the movie, because it's got to be about a man's fall due to his own hubris, right? Of like trying to. I would imagine what would be kind of fun, because I'm gonna look up Island in Pinocchio. I'm gonna put up Bad Island.
Please do. And while you're doing that, Pinocchio. I just want to note something that I know is in both of our minds. If there's a Shrek, it's post credits. It is a
yes, that's absolutely was my thought as well. Yeah, it's called Pleasure Island, by the way.
That's not great for Island for Children.
No, it's not.
Okay, so how do we sidestep the Epstein of it all that we're talking about here?
Yeah,
maybe though, how we sidestep it is that originally this is a no kids island.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just like a nice place for adults or like a resort. It's a resort, maybe. Like that feels more like a Hidden Valley sort of ranch sort of thing, where it's like it's a nice name for a nice place, adults only. And then part of why that like circus guy is the villain is because he included kids. And that
I
just
think
kind of ruined the whole vibe.
Great.
I think this is a place for recent divorcees and old singles.
I agree. I think what would be kind of fun would be if, much like the David Fincher film Seven, we have each segment be from that pushes this guy towards becoming more and more of a donkey, be one of the 7 deadly sins, and we have that, and then by the end of it, done. Because for the initial one, it's got to be greed because he wants to build this empire, right? And he wants to build a resort where he's making a bunch of money.
Wait. Okay, so now you're pitching something also too, because we're not only connecting to Pinocchio to the Shrekiverse, we're connecting Pinocchio to the Fincherverse with 7, because you know what this is also? It's a backdoor sequel. It's called 8, because the 8th sin is assuming. The 8th sin is assuming.
Title credit comes up. It just says cleanliness is closest to godliness. It comes down. Everyone's like, what does that mean? And then we just see a stable boy sweeping up after an old donkey, and you're like, what is going on? And we start at the end and then fill it in backwards, I feel like.
This is where my mind is. It might be going twist first, which isn't the way to do it. If we're going down this route, and the end thing is making an ass out of you and me, is Eddie Murphy the detective who, like, I'm making an ass out of you, and then maybe the serial killer turns himself into a butt, right?
I see what you're saying.
But because it's like, oh, we didn't expect it to be 2 different types of asses. Like that's the twist inside a twist.
Okay.
And then he turns the guy into, like, he turns Eddie Murphy into a donkey. He's a detective the whole serious detective.
Okay, so I think there's a couple things that's happened here. I think I didn't expect there to be a serial killer or a detective. I just said much like the movie 7.
You said 7.
The movie 7. Just like taking that. But also I like that idea of, okay, here's the thing. I think what should happen is this. The final thing for this guy is like I think throughout the entire time he's had a love interest or a wife or something that he's doing all of this for.
Oh.
And she slowly is turning into a donkey because he's made a deal like Satan or whatever, right? Because it's Pleasure Island, it's clearly Satan in Pinocchio. And she's slowly turning into a donkey, but from the ass end forward. And he realizes he has to turn himself into a donkey head down, like one of those a pantomime horse, those costumes.
Yes,
and so at the end they have to fuse together in order to continue to live. And that donkey again is the donkey we see from Shrek. I cannot stress this enough, that donkey is a human centipede of people turning into animals,
of a husband who has let his wife die so that she could become his ass.
Yes.
And they become one.
The two become one flesh.
Can I add this? If we're adding the 7 vibe of it, because I feel like that idea, as much as I love it, as much as we're doing it, as much as it's already in the works and concept art is being made by AI as we speak, I just want to know, like you did say the 7 thing, so that it feels like that has to be a punishment. So is it that Eddie Murphy is committing the other deadly sins, and and his wife keeps accusing him like, oh, you're cheating on me, and he's like, no, you're just assuming. You're gonna make an ass out of you and me, like every single that
idea. Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, you're just assuming I'm doing this. Like, but there's bodies here. And you get so much duct tape. You buy so much duct tape all the time. Why do you need so many chainsaws? Like, what is going on? And you're just assuming. Maybe I'm making you ice sculptures. And it gives a comedic element where Eddie Murphy can really have fun with that and really like, like he's caught, but he gets himself out of it like a little scamp.
I think that's good, and I think that the thing is, I think the main thrust of it is that Eddie Murphy makes a deal with Satan to be set for life by opening this resort, and Satan says, "Cool."
Played by Kevin Spacey.
No, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I will not let you be Frank. I'm so sorry. I will not let you be Frank. I will not let you put him in my movie. I would rather have a CGI Christopher Plummer come in and replace Kevin Spacey than have him in a movie. I'm sorry to know so firmly in an improv setting, but
I just thought like everybody can agree the guy deserves a comeback.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. What about this? What about Peter Sitafilowicz doing his Kevin Spacey impression?
Nah, let's just erase that. I don't know, because then we'll get canceled for that.
It's gone. We'll get canceled. What about Morgan Freeman? Because Morgan Freeman is both in Seven and also has played God, so that's kind of fun.
I like that a lot.
Okay.
I like that a lot. He's Satan now.
Cool. I'm Satan. You better believe it.
I watch Penguins.
So they come together, and Satan goes, "Sweet, bet. I'm gonna get you this crazy island that's gonna be so successful, but for me." In order to do this, you got to do one of the 7 deadly sins. And each task that Eddie Murphy is doing is to get, to complete his deal with Satan. And so his wife is kind of badgering him the whole time, doing what you're saying, the assuming thing. And that's his whole cover. But much like the what's in the box moment, the final thing is that you have to let your wife get turned into a butt
to save yourself. It's very soft,
and that's the final thing. What sin does that go with?
Assuming. That's the main thing. It turns out that's what we're aiming for, Tristan. That's the whole reason why we're having this discussion.
But that's not actually one of the 8. That's not.
No, I know it's not. So that's why we're making this. It's the 8th one.
I was gonna say that's true. Yeah, I forgot you had said that. So he's like, "Okay, I'm done with all that. I did all 7 of them." And Morgan Freeman just turns to him and goes, "There's actually 8 sins, and the 8th one is assuming."
Sorry. You haven't even addressed this element, which is beautiful, which I didn't even consider, is that Eddie Murphy is not a person at this Pleasure Island resort. He's not one of the widowers or like singles. He owns it. So now, like, his wife is like, why did you start this pleasure resort for people who are all our age? And you're just assuming. Like, from the start, it's just like, you're assuming things about me. You're assuming that because I want to be around a lot of recently widowed women all the time on a place called Pleasure Island, seeing something's going on.
Yeah, honey, I realize how this looks bad.
Conflict from the beginning. And also, other thing I love about it, is it gives him access as the villain to commit all these heinous crimes. The first 7 absolutely. To get to the sin of assumption.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that so much. I also love that our hero is definitely a serial killer. I don't think that's done in Hollywood nearly enough. No. And Eddie Murphy, who has more charm?
Yeah, who should the wife be played by?
The wife. My gut, if we're going for someone who has a range of emotions, and who suspects things, and they might be wrong. They have a lot of assumptions, but there might be doubts. I gotta say Meryl Streep. Gotta say she's the best at playing someone who assumes things but has doubts, and she has so many doubts.
That's true.
She said that on record.
Yes, that's true. She famously is very doubtful.
100%.
Giving a very grounded Kramer versus Kramer-esque performance against Eddie Murphy going, "Man, why you gotta... No, everything's fine. Yeah, what are you doing? Fine. Come on. I'm fine.
Listen, I'm out past 3 a.m. every night for you.
For you. It's all for you.
No explanation needed.
It's
all for you.
That's great. Is there anything that you want to fill out? Do you want to fill out the tasks? I feel like, I'll be honest with you. I have, let's see, 30% on my computer battery remaining because I can't plug it in because of where I am in my apartment.
I will say, I think to our benefit, David Fincher has done a lot of padding out for us. I think if we're just repeating
that's true.
those
That is very
again,
true. So we just copy them.
He's done a lot of legwork for us. Yeah, he's done a lot of legwork for us with this, which is great.
That's true. Fair point.
Like 7/8 of the plot, he's got it sorted.
What if in the opening scene where Morgan Freeman is like, "Okay, these are the things you need to do for me in order to do it," and Eddie Murphy's like, "Bet, got you." And he hands him a box, and Eddie Murphy, of course, has to go, "Well, what's in the box?" "I'm not going to tell you." what's in the box? And then he opens the box, and it's just a Blu-ray copy of Seven. And he goes, well, watch that, do everything that guy does, and then we can talk.
So that's huge, because then we do that. That has to happen at the beginning of the movie. Like, they made people with Seven wait till the end for that line. Like we're not gonna make you wait. We're not gonna make you wait. That's gonna happen early. It's a better movie that way.
No one got time for that. Yeah. That's so good. Okay,
and then we have a montage of Eddie Murphy watching Seven and being like, okay, I'm going to do that. And his wife was watching it with him. And so later when she like sees all these crimes happening, it's like, hey, this seems like a lot of the movie we watched like last week, like literally 7 days ago. And every day there's been another one of these murders. Don't you think that's pretty crazy? And he's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, it's normal. It's so normal and fine.
Can I say something too that like might save the whole thing?
Yeah, what's up?
So if we're really trying to approach DreamWorks with this, and like frankly, I think we can just take over their company after this pitch. Like I think we can just James Gunn the whole thing, where he pitched so hard we just own it now, you know? So like my thought, we approach him because we got to maintain the donkey character, right? What if every victim of all of the 7 murders is played by Eddie Murphy?
That's so fucking funny.
So that at the end of the movie, it's revealed that no crimes are actually committed. And like the nutty professor is the glutton one, like his stomach's burst open, like it was like, oh shit. Like it ties together those universes too, because he broke up from his wife and now he's at this widower's island. Yeah. And like all the clumps are there. And they die from and it turns out and then that's the biggest part of the twist, is that Meryl Streep has all this evidence at the end, and then Eddie Murphy's like, I'm actually Eddie Murphy, and I played all of those roles. And now you have to be my butt. Because you made an ass out of you and me. And now Meryl Streep, you gotta be my butt for at least 4 or 5 movies and an animated series.
That's so fucking funny.
Donkey.
Oh, it's so good.
I think that's it. I think that's it.
I'm down. Who do we get to direct this thing?
David Fincher.
Clearly, you come off Clearer and then go to.
Like, to me, it's David Fincher or Randy Newman. Like, I feel like it's one of the two.
I don't think Randy's up for it.
We got to figure out the post credits, because I feel like there's a post credits where like he's been turned into the donkey, and like the island is burning down or something's going, or like just in the background we see Pinocchio stepping out onto the island, and this is after it's been turned into a place for boys or whatever. The scandal is like, and then Shrek pulls up on a ski-doo and he like raises his hand out to donkey. He's like, come with me. Or no, it can't be Shrek. It's gotta be the Cookie Man. It's gotta be Gingerbread. He's gotta be the one, because he can't have the star.
He can't have the star.
You can't bring Michael in for that cameo.
I think we got a winner.
I think we got it.
Do you want to do a couple lightning rounds?
Okay.
So I'm gonna say let's do 2 quick lightning round pitches, because that way my computer doesn't die. We each get a word. We each do a different pitch that's very short for the word. For example, I'm going to do, the word is absence. Mine would be about someone who is on the wait list for a heart transplant, and the only person who matches them is a long-lost relative that they haven't seen in 20 years, and the tagline is, it makes the heart grow fonder.
I like that a lot. I really thought you were going to go with somebody who's going to get an ab transplant. See,
this is why I do this. There's like a lot of diversity of thought when it comes to these sorts of things. So what's yours for absence?
Again, I think I just said it. It would be
cool.
either that. It'd be either that, or it'd be somebody dealing with the loss of their abs, because like either through like some sort of, they were on a date and then they got like unfortunately drugged. That's not like a fun storyline, but like then they woke up, instead of like their kidney removed, they had their abs removed. That could be a nice drama.
Can I tell you, that's very it's funny as a concept.
Thank you. I didn't mean it to be. I meant it to be very scary and much more of a thriller. But I appreciate your note.
Yeah. I mean, like the idea of like someone removing all of their
know
abs.
What you're saying. No, I know what you're saying. I was
my
joking.
6-pack, bro, where'd it go? Oh, this sucks.
But then if I was like doing like a early 2000s like Steve Carell comedy drama, it would be like, oh, he used to be ripped, but he hasn't had abs since 2000,
and now
so it'd
he's
be like
torn.
He's fighting. You know who's actually? I said Steve Carell. The person who's actually perfect for this is Hugh Jackman, because then he can make this movie while preparing for Wolverine again.
Yes, because we all.
And
want
I think
that.
That's great. We all want it. We all need it. That's why he's here.
It. Yeah.
We need him.
He's a huge Jack man. Next one I have is Pillow. So I see this as a drama about someone who's trying antidepressants for the first time. But instead of making them less depressed, they make them very, very small. They shrink them down. And it's a pill that makes you low.
Oh,
that's what
I like that a lot, because you get the sleeping, you get the pill, you get the low. You probably get Matt Damon to shrink down again. He loves that. I like that a lot.
I was hoping
Martin Short too. Everybody's been dying for the Matt Damon Martin Short dynamic. We haven't gotten it yet, and that's a shame. I like that a lot. My mind went to like either like Pillow, like maybe the working project name is Pillow, but then the name is Pillow Talk, and like it's something where when a person's going to sleep, their pillow starts whispering in their ear and starts telling them all these things they don't want to know, things that happened in the room when they weren't around, like it's like things that, yeah, right. And they're just like, this is what happened, like confirming all their suspicions, like, oh no, your friend took something from your wallet, your kid like jacked off in that plant, you're like all this stuff, like just telling you what you shouldn't know, all your deepest fears, and just confirming them. You had so many doubts, and now Meryl Streep is learning everything's real. Your kid did jerk off in your plant, and you were like, because you can't even ask him that. You can't even be like, hey, my child, did you jerk off in my plant? Like, that is a scarring moment. You can't just ask that of your kid. But now she knows. Or does she? Or is it just the pillow working against her and her family? And then she's like holding a gun to the kid's head later, like, just admit you jacked off in my plant. And she's like, no. He's like, no, the pillow's lying to you. The pillow's lying to you. And then like later, like towards the end, like after they've killed the pillow, there's like a baby cam footage of like the teen goes into the room and jacks off on the plant, and you know the pillow was honest all along. The pillow was sinless. They were flawless. They were telling the truth. So that would be my Pillow Talk thing, and Pillow is maybe a more artsy way of doing it, but like I think Pillow Talk would be the name I would ultimately end with.
I think that's great. I think that's the silliest thing I've ever heard. Really got me. I think I'm good. What else do you want people to know about you that listen to this podcast? Do you have anything you want to plug, or just anything in general?
Hey, my name's Dani. I have a YouTube at Dani Over Here. I have a TikTok there too. I also have an Instagram for that. Dani Over Here is DANI Over Here. But yeah, mostly just follow that stuff if you want to see what's coming out. And I love you all for listening. This is a very fun show, and you're very fun for being a part of it. So thank you. I mean, I want to plug the show that I'm doing. Have you ever heard of Focus Testing? You should listen to it. You gotta pick that up.
You haven't heard other episodes.
I was just in an episode of Focus Testing. You should check that out.
It's very funny. And to you, the listener, thank you for listening. You can support this podcast by going to tristanmiller.substack.com, getting it directly in your inbox. I also post movie reviews there that are meant to be light and humorous. You can follow me if you go to link.tree/Tristan J. Miller. It's all in the thing below. And then also on Patreon and also in Substack, I do an exclusive sleep podcast where I talk to people about their comfort movies. And it's been lots of fun being able to do that. So highly recommend you check out the Substack and the Patreon. Thanks for doing the pod, Dani. I appreciate you doing it.
Thanks for having me. Love the podcast, so I'm very excited to be here. Love the video portion. So if you want to see what I look like, check that out too.
Absolutely.
And if you want to see the dabs we just did, you gotta look at the video.
I'm trying to bring dabbing back. I'm trying to bring it back.
I feel like it's like there's enough Gen Z people who are cringe about it that like it can come back in like a retro ironic way. And it's weird because it's like it was old when it affected our generation, but now
true,
like maybe like we were already tired of it. Like younger people were doing it, and now it's like now we're doing it because like the young people who are now old did it, and now we're kind of making fun of them with the younger generation. So like that's the only bonding thing of us and Gen Z is that we can both make fun of dabbing.
That's true.
Follow the video portion if you want to see how we're connecting generations and peoples.
Perfect. No notes.